On your side, 75 years and counting. This is 6 News WOWT Daybreak.
Welcome to Daybreak Live, streaming on this Wednesday morning. I'm Erin Hartley.
I'm Cerise Cole. It is raining. Did it wake you up this morning? We all agreed it did not wake us up. I heard it when I got up, but the rain continues to fall. It's going to be a wet commute.
It will be, and we're already seeing that cause some problems.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that a little bit further, but let's start with what the timeline looks for how long the rain goes. And yeah, there's some lightning, some thunder overnight.
All of it.
Maybe you heard that. Maybe that woke you up as you started off your day a little bit earlier than you maybe would have liked. You might need the coffee today because it's going to be gray. It's going to be a day where we have the rain around for much of the early morning hours. You can see it's still coming down at a pretty good clip through the metro. When you zoom things out, we've still got plenty of it falling near the metro and many of our Iowa towns. You've got some pretty heavy rain happening as well. We're going to continue to kind of sweep this through the area through much of the morning. So it's going to be several more hours before we see things get a little bit more spotty with this coverage of the showers. That's about midday when I expect we start to see some breaks in that. And what I mean by that is dry hours. It's still going to be cloudy even when it's not raining. Still some off and on showers through about 6 p.m. is when I think we start to wind that down as far as the rain goes, and we'll gradually, slowly clear things out overnight. So let's look at how it all plays out. There's the rain that we've got in place. Notice the streamline's pretty active out of the southeast. Some gusty winds as we start off the day. Those actually back off as we get toward the middle of the day, but still some rain around as we go through the middle of the day. I think this is a little bit too much coverage for what we end up seeing by the time we get to the afternoon. Probably more hit or miss with some of those showers as we go through about the 4 p.m. time frame. And then we start pulling that off to the east, and we should start wrapping that up as we get toward about that 6 p.m. hour and eventually clearing out as well. But you'll also notice the streamlines now out of the northwest as we get toward the evening. Some gusty winds pick back up at that point. Rainfall totals, we're looking at a lot of us to end up 3/4 of an inch to near an inch. By the time it's all said and done, that's going to help out a lot with that drought situation. And especially if you're in Iowa, you could still pick up another 1.5 inches from where we're at right now. If you're off to the west, you're not getting left out of it, but you do get some lighter totals than what the rest of us see. Still, any rain, good rain from what we see out of this. The morning hours, as I mentioned, some gusts up around 25 miles per hour. That lull in the middle of the day with some of the wind, that's actually as we get the system coming through, and then behind that we kick those winds back up as we get into the evening hour. So a bit of a soggy one that we end up seeing for today. It's maybe not going to be the most pleasant of days as you're out and about. You'll have the rain kind of hitting you in the face, but
you paint a lovely picture, Jared.
I like to use the vivid words that match the feeling that you're saying as you're, holding back obscenities. But, it's just today.
Okay. And then moving towards we can talk about the weekend already, right? It's Wednesday. We're close enough. And we're going to be clearing out. Actually, a little bit warmer than we usually see maybe this time of year.
There's a good reason to start thinking about the weekend at this point because it looks really nice.
Yeah.
Let's dig into the details on that. Once we make our way past today, today's forecast, it's not the greatest day. Right around 50 for a high, you've got the rain around. But once you get past today, the rain chances go away. You've got a lot of sunshine on the way for our Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe a few clouds, but still looking pretty good at that point. And when you look at the temperatures, average is 52 for today. We're at about 50 today for our high, and we step things up over the next few days too. How about that? 63 for a high for Friday, 65 by the time we get to our Saturday. That's looking really nice. And even Sunday's not too bad. We're in the mid-50s for our high. A little bit more of a wind by the time we get to our Saturday, but that's a pretty good looking at November forecast that we have. And there's what it looks like on the 10-day. Nighttime temperature is even not too bad. We do have a couple of 30s, upper 30s next couple of mornings, but we'll rebound pretty nicely. Once we get to next week, things get a little bit more interesting. We've got a strong storm system that comes into the middle of the country. Looks pretty good that we end up with rain coming down on Monday, and the wind will be active through much of next week. What still has to be figured out is exactly what happens there in that last half of the week. And you notice there's some rain there. There's some flakes that are showing up on that 10-day. We'll dig in a little bit more on exactly what I'm seeing, why I'm going with what I'm going here in a little bit.
Because that's what everybody wants to know. Okay, back to the rain. And this morning, whenever it's raining, there are always crashes. It's just, it's like peanut butter and jelly just goes together, unfortunately.
You know, it gets slick.
Yeah.
And some people maybe think, well, I got to get where I need to get and just go the normal speed, and that's not a good idea because you end up with issues. And with some of the wet roads that are happening, we've had a few different places where crashes have been in place. This is the JFK at L, and we actually had a crash on the ramp that was in place for about half an hour, just within about the last 5 to 10 minutes. We did see that crash clear, that ramp fully reopened, but you can see how wet the roads are as a result of that. So yes, this crash is no longer in place. Good news there. We zoomed things out. Still some traffic to make its way north. Had some backups that did get created as a result of that, but starting to see improvements. Also had a crash not too long ago, and that's a new crash that we ended up with there, 480 right past that I-80 interchange. So you can see it's getting pretty active with issues. You notice these delays that are in place on 680 heading south toward the I-80 interchange. That was another crash that was in place, and you're noticing a pattern here. Interchanges, ramps, any of those kind of places where things can get slick and we start running into problems when we have the rain falling. So that crash, by the way, has cleared on I-80 eastbound as well, but still some backups in place. Use some extra caution as you're heading out this morning because of those issues that I mentioned. There's still going to be rain falling. You'll need the windshield wipers, the headlights, all going to be good ideas to be having those present in your drive. A little bit of a slowdown showing up there on I-80, about 72nd eastbound, and a couple of other spots where people are probably just navigating around some of that rain that continues to fall, causing some of those delays. So we'll keep an eye on that. And there you can see I-80 and I-29 southeast of town with some delays at that interchange. So those are places I will be watching especially close. But it looks like right now our only active crash is at 480 and 80 that is causing some delays right about there.
Okay. All right. Jared, thank you. The Nebraska Attorney General is going after a social media influencer. Mike Hilgers says that Liz Friesen was involved in a passive income scheme along with the company that she worked with called Wi-Fi Money. Friesen's biography on her Instagram lists her as Mrs. Nebraska American 2024.
Now, the criminal complaint includes several pictures showing some of the alleged deception techniques. A lawsuit claims the scheme resulted in Nebraskans losing, get this, $3 million. So the lawsuit accuses the defendants of enticing consumers to buy something called automated e-commerce stores. The filing claims people were tricked with empty promises of getting money back guarantees. A man is under arrest accused of skimming credit cards and running up thousands of dollars in charges.
William Rodriguez Frega is facing 10 felony charges. Investigators say they found 43 Walmart cash cards, 11 blank chip debit and credit cards, and card reader and Hy-Vee receipts at his apartment. A Douglas County deputy says these crimes are typically committed by Romanian fraud groups.
They are generally brought here illegally for a period of time. They drive around the country committing these crimes, and then assuming they don't get arrested, they probably leave. In this instance, because it's a local group, it gave us a little bit more ability to take action on it.
He's due back in court next month. His bond set at $100,000.
All right, Aaron, now I'm at the 6 on Your Side safety desk with our own Maria Kate, and you have some social media activity news about post-election, and it's not really good.
No, there's some new research that's coming out that we want to first alert you to, and it's showing that sexist and abusive messages against women are surging across social media platforms since the election results came out last week. Now, this is coming in from an analysis by the Institute for Strategic Dialogue. They say between Thursday and Friday after the election, there was a 4,600% increase in mentions of the phrase "your body, my choice" on X. Now, there was a post from YouTuber Nick Fuentes last Tuesday with the phrase, and it has been viewed more than 90 million times and reposted more than 35,000 times. The researchers say this rise in harassment might signal far-right extremists feel emboldened by the outcome of the election. Now, those experts say they are worried that all of this online rhetoric might translate to some harmful things happening in real life. So something we all want to be mindful of.
So
Absolutely.
unfortunate that this is happening, right? And we're hearing about this. All right, we're going to flip the script a little bit and talk about something also top of mind, and that's holiday shopping. We were talking about this earlier this morning.
Yes.
We're counting down the days.
I know. Can you believe it? It comes
No,
by
I
so
can't.
fast every single year. Well, if you're not careful with your finances, you could be getting a hefty bill at the end of the holiday season. Experts say shopping as early as now, that can help you budget and sort of manage those finances. Now, the National Retail Federation expects shoppers to spend on average, get this, $902 per person.
Per person?
This year. Can you believe it? Almost $1,000. Now, they say, to break it down, about $641 of that would be going towards the gifts themselves. The rest, though, divvied up between food, cards, and those holiday decorations. Now, when it comes to how to pay, a recent survey by NerdWallet found 28% of shoppers who used credit cards to buy gifts last year, they're still paying off that debt now. They still have those bills that they need to get under their belt. Now, to avoid being that person, they say you're going to want to make a plan on how you're going to spend right now.
Using some kind of browser add-on like Honey or the Camelizer browser extension just to track those prices can just help make sure that you're getting the best deal possible.
Now, they say you can also make a list and figure out exactly how much you want to spend before you go out to the stores, sort of make that shopping list, budget everything out. Or they also say you can talk to your family and friends, maybe talk about scaling back this year, not getting as many gifts, not spending as much.
Or you could do a gift exchange, like everybody pick a name.
Yeah.
Those are way. That's
what my family does. Each cousin gives one to another cousin.
That's smart. Your family is smart. All right. Good, top of mind.
Yes.
Aaron, we're going to send it back to you.
All right, thanks, guys. Coming up on Daybreak Streaming, an update to a 6 on your site investigation on squatters in an Omaha neighborhood. Plus, Jarrett's back with the rain that we've been dealing with this morning. Welcome back. Time now 7:16 on this Wednesday morning. Taking a live look outside. Kind of a little bit foggy in that camera view. And of course, we are dealing with lots of rain this morning. Of course, lots of green and yellow on the radar that Jared has been tracking for us this morning. So how do we expect this to play out throughout today?
It's going to be pretty soggy for much of the day. You can see how heavy the rain's coming down there aptly. And it's going to be pretty consistent with our rainfall through the morning. Once we get to the afternoon, it gets a little bit more hit or miss. So here's where we're standing right now. You can see that the rain continues to track through much of the area. We can zoom out here, give you a bit of a better idea of what it's doing area-wide. And you can see that we are still looking at some of that tracking its way in from the south. Some breaks in this off to the west. This is kind of more of a north to northeast motion that we've got going on. So it will get a little bit more hit or miss as we get later toward midday and then into the afternoon, but still going to be seeing plenty of rain falling through that time frame. But once we get past today and get some of those totals up around an inch, we are looking at a much calmer, much drier day for tomorrow. That gets us up into the upper 50s, a lot of sunshine. It's going to be a pretty nice day for our Thursday, and that carries on into the weekend too. and it even gets warmer. Our average high in the low 50s as we get into the weekend will be about 50 degrees for that average high, and we're looking at 63 for Friday, 65 for Saturday. Very mild air. Nice sunshine in place. A little breezy for both these days, but especially Saturday. We get some gusts up around 30 miles per hour there. We'll calm the winds down on Sunday, but we'll be a little bit cooler, 55 still. That's not a bad weekend at all. That's noteworthy because look at what happens after that. A lot of people have been talking about this already on social media. We've been getting some questions about how the storm system makes its way into the middle of the country. And like yesterday when we were on here, I want to break down two different views of how things play out and then talk about what I'm expecting out of this. So we see this model run, and what it does is it takes rain through as we get into the second half of our Monday especially. It's pretty consistent among all the data we look at, and then we see that linger into our Tuesday morning. This is the point where things start forking into different avenues on exactly how things play out. This model, which was the one that was a lot calmer yesterday, now says, let's take some of this snow and swing it into the area as we get into our Wednesday night. Maybe a rain-snow mixture as we get into the evening hours, and then bring a little bit of some snow through as we get into the overnight hours. So that's one view of what plays out, and then it pushes it off to the east as our Thursday goes along. Now let's look at the other view, and this is the one that was a little bit stronger on there being snow in our area yesterday. Here's what it says. There's the rain for our Monday night into our Tuesday morning, and then it just completely takes the system out of here and dries us out. Very different view than what was showing up yesterday, and this is the sort of thing that we have to work through when we're making forecasts is what is accurate? Is this a new trend that's starting to show up? How will things play out, and kind of use all of this data to say what we think is going to happen. A little bit I'll show you what I'm expecting, but we are looking at, in the lead up, some pretty nice weather. Aside from today, windy, will be near 50. We'll have those showers and storms around, and then we get the sunshine through the weekend. Some pretty nice weather. 60s when you get into late November. That's some really good temperatures to be seeing that line up right in time for the weekend before we see that system move in.
I mean, those are nice temperatures. I have a teenager, so shorts will be worn on those days. But let's talk about after those nice temperatures. What can we expect later?
Okay, so what I'm thinking plays out with this. I talked about how it looks pretty likely that Monday brings us rain. So I do have rain on Monday. After that, we get a little bit of a break Tuesday night is how I think things play out right now. We get some rain showers during the day Wednesday, probably cold rain showers because we're only in the 40s for our temps there. And then I think we mix in some snow showers Wednesday night, the way things look, before we see that system make its way off to the east. Notice those temperatures, right near 40 for a high. That's a lot different than what we've got at the beginning of the 10-day. Now, I do want you to realize this is quite a ways away. We still have a lot of time where we'll be hashing out the details on exactly what plays out next week. And that's part of the reason you don't have a 6 first alert weather day yet for next week. We got to get more consistency with the data and get a bit more of a better idea of how things are going to play out. But this is how I see things going as we head into next week. Indications continue to look like wetter than average as we get closer to Thanksgiving timeframe. Keep in mind, as I head to this one, we're getting that colder than average inching its way toward us. Ooh, you start matching those two up, snow lovers might have a little bit of something here with that kind of combination. Oh, we've got them.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, there's certainly two camps here, and one's going to be pretty happy if things play out that way, and one's not. But we'll continue to let you know which one ends up happier as we get closer.
We shall see. All right, Jared, thank you for walking us through that. But I want to get to a follow-up to a 6 on Your Side investigation. It has now caught the attention of local law enforcement. So 2 men at a homeless encampment in the area of 23rd and Q were actually issued tickets. They now have to appear in court. If the 2 men venture from the camp into the neighbors' yards, they could be arrested for trespassing. Deputies don't have to be present either to watch over these yards.
This is a live camera. We can view it anytime from a computer or from a cell phone, and we can find out what's going on when we're not there.
Mayor's office says the contractor specializing in homeless camp cleanup has put in a bid to take care of the mess you see there. City Councilman Ron Hugg says Omaha Police and Public Works will also be involved to keep the camp from returning. Well, we have some new toys now in the Hall of Fame.
All right, did your favorite childhood toy make it? We'll have to see. Stick around.
Well, some of your childhood favorites may now be part of a toy box royalty.
All right, so My Little Pony, the card game Phase 10, and Transformers are this year's inductees into the National Toy Hall of Fame. All three rose to popularity back in the 80s. Toys not making this year's cut include balloons, apples to apples, and the trampoline. So what do we think?
Whoa. Phase 10 got in before balloons?
Right.
Or a trampoline.
Did you guys either play with a My Little Pony Transformers?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
I did.
I had friends that had My Little Pony, but I didn't know any.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't either. So you agree with
My Little Pony for me, Transformers were huge for my brother.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Oh, brother, yeah. Right.
I get both of those too. Phase 10 should have waited a round or two.
The balloon should have gone first,
Yeah.
right? That's like a
Justice for
staple.
balloons.
Team
Start the
balloons.
petition.
I'm telling you, we used to play keep the balloon in the air with my little kids. We could
still
do that
do.
for
Yeah, I used to bat in there,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, yeah, that could go on forever. All right, everybody, thanks for joining us. We're going to get ready for our update in the Today Show. You can watch here on the stream or on the air. You have options.
That's right. Have a great start to your Wednesday.
On your side, 75 years and counting. This is 6 News WOWT Daybreak Update.
Good Wednesday morning, everybody. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Hartley. Let's get an update this morning on traffic and weather with Jared.
And the traffic being impacted because of the rain that's moving through. Crash at the interchange, I-80 eastbound to 480 northbound. You can see the delays that are stretching onto I-80 as a result of this. There's a crash on the ramp, the right lane being blocked as a result of that. So stay left and be ready for things to be slow through there. A prior crash causing some delays as you're going northbound on the